Alright, ladies and gents, Gatti Gaming here, back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about how to increase your damage on the PHAINON. A lot of people are seeing numbers and damage, obviously statistics on YouTube about hitting 1.3 million, 1.4 million. I'm going to show you how to hit those damage numbers specifically according to what I've done for testing and being able to actually finally get a very good unit on this account that is able to do a lot and carry so much for me specifically. So as we start off, obviously probably the reason why you're not hitting about 1.5, 1.2, 1.3 or even 1.7 is probably because of your team setup. So I'm going to give you my team setup, or rather my most optimal team setup for the game right now, or for PHAINON specifically. Right now this is my go-to team: PHAINON, Sunday, Bronya, and obviously the Trailblazer. Now it is important for you to realize that you need to also set up their kits, or rather their relics and planner ornaments, in a specific way. I'll give you now what I mean. One of the major things that you want is that you always want, in this case, for example, in the team setup, that you always want PHAINON to be on the left hand side. Now, most people will ask, okay, why not put him in the middle? Obviously, when he's attacked, he does end up getting a stack. No, this is why. When you put him on the left hand side, depending on the planner ornaments that you give your team, you are able to give him close to about probably even 60% to 70% attack, but in most cases the maximum you'll get, depending on just varying the amount of relics you're going according to the team, is about 24% specific. But basically what you want is that you want PHAINON here, and I'll tell you why in a few minutes. So as we start, obviously my PHAINON is rocking his light cone. Now in terms of traces, we're good. In terms of his relics, this is what I've ended up being able to sort of just re-roll, farm, and do for him, specifically on crit rate, crit damage, crit rate with attack, crit rate with attack, attack with crit damage, physical damage boost with attack and crit damage, and then obviously attack with crit rate and crit damage. So his basic stats are sitting around 66.8 to 173. Now, you're looking at this and probably think that's a bit low. No, trust me, when you are in the game, you will realize how high his numbers go with the amount of support that you get. Now, it is also now important for you to know that you need to have, if you have Sunday, and I'll give you a free-to-play team as well, but that's where obviously numbers will vary. So generally, this is my go-to team to hit those 1 million numbers every single time with PHAINON. So in general, you always want your Sunday to be faster than your Bronya. The reason why is that you want the Trailblazer to be the first to play, or the first to go in the game. You want your Sunday to go next, and then you want your Bronya to go last, and then her setup with her ult after her skill basically snapshots into PHAINON, basically now going into his ultimate form. So in general, you want PHAINON, or rather, sorry, you want a Trailblazer, PHAINON, as Trailblazer, Sunday, Bronya, and then PHAINON. That's how you want the cycle to go. And the way you want to do that is just build PHAINON with as much attack as you want. It doesn't matter, just build him with as much attack as you want. You want Sunday to be faster than Bronya, 100%. Sunday has to be faster than Bronya, not the other way around. And then obviously you want your Trailblazer, you can put him at a 130, doesn't really matter as long as he's in the middle of this two. The thing is that he has to go first in the turn, and it is possible with the following relics. So in terms of relics, what do you want? Obviously for Sunday, you want this Cercados Relieved Ordeal, which is the one that gives, when using a skill or ultimate on one ally target, increases the ability's target crit damage by 18%. So you want this, and then the most important one is that you want Lushaka, the Sunken Seas. Now what this does is it increases the wearer's energy regeneration rate by 5%, and if the wearer is not the first character in the team lineup, then increases the attack of the first character in the team lineup by 12. So this passive here is what's important to understand, that you need PHAINON to be on the left hand side of your team at all times. And then when you obviously put someone else with the same rope and orb, basically you get about 24%. You can additionally also give Bronya to have the same planner ornament, and obviously now you'll get an additional, after 24, an additional about 36%. And the basic, but you know, you want to vary yourself. One of the best ornaments I found specifically for Bronya is this one, as long as she has 30% effect res, all allies get crit damage plus 10%. So obviously from Sunday you're getting a lot of crit rate, minimal crit damage. From Bronya you're getting a lot of crit damage, minimal crit rate, and then obviously from the Trailblazer you're getting true damage buffs and some crit rate, about 10%. So generally that's how you want to build the team. You want your PHAINON to just go full on attack, as much crit rate, crit damage balance as you can. You want your Sunday to not be as fast, but faster than Bronya. And then obviously Bronya, you want to just kind of build her in a way where you have some decent speed, some decent crit damage, but slower than Sunday. And then lastly for the Trailblazer, now the most important thing that actually is weird, you want a 3-star light cone. This one specifically, is it 2-star? It's a 2-star light cone, I think. Actually 3-star light cone for the remembrance path. And what this does is when the wearer summons a memo swipe for the first time, it recovers 1 skill point and regenerates 20 energy for the specific unit. This allows basically the moment he plays, he gets his ult and then gets the action forward for you to basically pull PHAINON up, and I'll show you in a bit. And then basically that's pretty much it. The most important thing as well is to make sure that you always have an energy regeneration rope on every single character that you have apart from PHAINON. So even Bronya, you want to make sure that she has energy regeneration. Obviously for the Trailblazer, you want to also make sure that he has energy regeneration. This whole team is mostly based off on supporting PHAINON because that's his whole kit. That's his whole shtick, right? So basically, again, you want your Trailblazer to go first, not through a lot of speed. Trust me, when you build him, the way you've obviously I've done so, just the way you've seen. I know Sunday's fast. Sunday's obviously faster. Even Bronya is faster, but he ends up being the first unit to basically play, right? And that's pretty much it. And that's mostly because if you pop his skill prior to the fight, it enables him to summon the Memo Sprite or summon, I don't know what her name is, Mem, right? And then Mem gets her ult, places the ult, get the ultimate, or rather not the ultimate, the forward up, you put up PHAINON, go Sunday, puts up PHAINON, go Bronya, does her ult, and then now you have all these buffs going into the final attack phase of PHAINON to be able for him to hit that big damage and snapshot all those buffs to him. So basically that's how you want it to be. I found this to be the best way for you to play this PHAINON specifically. Maybe it's just my way specifically, but I found it very consistent. I'm hitting exactly 1.7 or rather 1.2 sometimes, actually 1.2 specifically, but the most important thing is always just to make sure that you have those planner ornaments and those relics set according to that. So I'm going to show you a good example of how it works. We're going to go into the Memory of Chaos. It works on every single game mode, so pretty much it's consistent. So basically, again, set up your team. You want your obviously your PHAINON, Sunday, Bronya, Trailblazer, okay? And it works so well. So one of the major things of PHAINON is that he enables a lot of energy regeneration if he gets into a fight with his skill. So obviously you want to go Sunday, Bronya, Trailblazer, and then finally PHAINON. And you can auto this and it works. Now look at the way it goes on its own. So as you can see, basically full auto just does that rotation so perfectly, and you get every single buff that you have from both Sunday, Bronya, and the Trailblazer. And as you can see, 6,462 worth of attack, 96.8% crit rate, 463.1% bloody crit damage, and obviously 159, 1 off 160. But basically these are all his buffs at the moment. We've got obviously the increased damage by 40%, and a further increase by 60%, physical res pen by 20, damage dealt by 36, attack by 48, crit damage by 50, speed by 30, attack by 59, and 50 crit damage by 52, an additional crit damage by 30, speed by 12, increased damage by 35, and 66, obviously being from Bronya. And then each stack of damage dealt by 15%, stacking up to 3 stacks. I mean, we are rocking so many buffs with that rotation. It's impossible for you not to hit that 1 a million. So now let me show you how this looks now when you auto. And just like that, 0 cycle. Like the only thing I can say is that the only factor that I can say that probably affects a lot of this gameplay is the fact that my PHAINON is at E2, so he is dealing a bit more damage in terms of his general kind of damage output. But if you watch one of my previous videos, irrespective of having E2, there is a very high chance that you're not going to be able to deal a lot of damage, because if you do not have the proper setup, or you don't, and it's not even about having like specifically Sunday and Bronya, you can actually replace Sunday very well with any other support that you have. One of the major supports I think can work specifically is actually Ting Yun from a free-to-play perspective, or Yukon. But for Yukon, you have to play it manually. The reason why you want to play it manually is because if you have Yukon, she has a specific passive that when she has the roaring bowstring, which is basically what allows her to give buffs to people, when she has that roaring bowstring, you have to launch her ultimate exactly before PHAINON ults, because with her value, the allies get 88% increase in attack, and then from her ultimate you get an increase in crit rate by 29.4%, and crit damage by 70%. So basically you want to launch her ultimate and or her skill, but specifically her ultimate and her skill, gaining 88% attack and then crit rate of 29.4 and crit damage of 70%. So that's pretty much it. It's very easy for you to build PHAINON if you have at least a Bronya and the Trailblazer built up. But most importantly, you want to make sure that the Trailblazer has this light cone, and you want to make sure that they pop their skill right before you attack. That way they go first, they get the ultimate, and then it just snapshots into obviously Sunday skill ultimate, Bronya skill ultimate, and then PHAINON skill ultimate, snapshotting all those buffs into one go, and you're 0 cycle. That's pretty much it. But yeah, so if you have any thoughts, any views, hit the likes and comments. I'm free to obviously comment and show you how to actually get this. But if you copy my build, a lot of it will be RNG, but just remember important notes. Make sure Sunday is faster than Bronya, and obviously Bronya is slower than Sunday. It doesn't matter how fast the Trailblazer is, as long as you pop the skill first, he will go first in the turn. And as long as he has an energy regeneration rope, he will basically get his ultimate on top of obviously having this specific light cone. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you in the next one.